What's going on, people? Welcome to episode 30 of the Culture 316 podcast. I'm one of your hosts and one of your producers, Jordan Nahisi.
And I'm your co host, Mo, that is filled up on C4, so expect this podcast to get progressively reckless.
Mo and I have already discussed the fact that by the end of this podcast, she's going to transform into the ultimate warrior. So that's that's just a thing that y'all
I'm
gonna have
gonna
to be
be hyped on some macho man shit between my rants.
without the
So
roids.
I promise you I'm not on coke. I was not I have not been hanging with Tony anytime soon.
I was about to say
I'm
you
just
haven't
on
been on the Tony
C4.
Khan diet, but
No, it's powder, but it's not white. I promise
oh
you.
god.
Um
But thank you guys so much for tuning and tapping in with us. If you are listening via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, be sure to rate the show 5 stars. Be sure to subscribe and follow us. Also, if you're on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, we're celebrating our 50th anniversary, so just keep that in mind as we go throughout the season. And last but not least, as far as the announcements are concerned, if you like wrestling and you like watching wrestling with friends, then come kick it with us for the 316 Space 4 Elimination Chamber. Me and Mo will be there. It's going to be on our Twitter. We're going to be going live at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. That is 4:45 Pacific Standard Time. So come kick it with us. Get your beverages and all of your things, and join us there. And we'll be there waiting for you guys, ready to kick off this, not even kick off, but continue the road to WrestleMania through the last premium live event before WrestleMania 39 in the Elimination Chamber. Actually, really hyped for the show. We're going to get into predictions later in the show. But without further ado, let's get it started with some news that is non WWE related. Per Sports Illustrated yesterday, Ring of Honor television will begin airing on March 2nd, and they will be airing episodes every single Thursday on Honor Club. The first ever tapings will take place at Universal Studios in Orlando on February 25th and 26th. Tony Khan has also stated that it will take place that it will be available for the tickets will be available for the inaugural taping of the new Ring of Honor. And like I said earlier before, the episodes will be available on Honor Club, which is Ring of Honor's subscription service, as they do not have a television deal in place just yet. But I wanted to know your thoughts and your impressions on the fact that we're finally getting a Ring of Honor television product or television adjacent product.
um I think it's pretty cool, honestly. I'm happy that they're doing something with it because I feel like for the longest, like I was initially a little excited that Tony Khan did invest into buying Ring of Honor, and then I felt like he wasn't doing much with it.
Mm.
I think we all kind of thought it was a little forgotten about. But I think in the last couple months, there's been a build of interest with Ring of Honor, especially with like all the events that's been happening.
Mm.
So I think, yeah, I could expect more of like an audience, or at least like people just wanting to join in and getting a ticket for it. I actually am interested in seeing how the tapings would go and if it would be any different from what we see on Wednesday nights and on Friday nights. I kind of don't know what to expect from it quite yet. Do you think it's going to be like booked a little bit differently than Rampage and Dynamite? Like, what do you expect?
So I don't expect too many. Well, definitely expect a difference in the presentation. I think we're going to go with a version of Ring of Honor that's not going to be as polished as a Dynamite or a Rampage. Um, it's interesting that they're doing this at Universal Studios, which is where they take dark sometimes, and also where traditionally the original TNA Impact was filmed. After they came from Nashville, they went to Universal Studios and they created the impact zone. So it's interesting to see this kind of continuation of studio television wrestling. Obviously, WCW used to be at
Hmm.
Disney, but same difference. As far as how things are going to be booked, I think that we're definitely going to get a focus on a lot of the Ring of Honor centric talent. I think that we're going to get a lot of Cesaro. I think we're going with Claudio Castagnoli. I think we're going to get a lot of Mark Briscoe. I think we're going to get a lot of Wheeler Yuta. And also, I believe that we're going to get a lot of the guys who are, I don't want to say secondary, but kind of like the people that are on the up and up and kind of like the proteges in AEW. So I expect to see a lot of, once again, Wheeler Yuta. I expect to see a lot of Daniel Garcia. I expect to see a lot of Sammy Guevara. I expect to see a lot of the guys who I feel like will be main eventers in AEW, but they kind of need a place to kind of polish and kind of hone their craft a little bit more before they, you know, main event a show or something along those lines. That's just like my impression on it. But I am very, very excited for this. And I think that once they kind of develop a rhythm, I think that they're probably going to land some form of television deal as well. You was about to say something because yeah, I didn't
I
know
was
if you
thinking
had.
about because you're listing men, so I was wondering, is Ring of Honor at all going to have like something going on with the women because there's
Yes.
like still complaints about how like, the women get booked,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
think they.
So
I,
you think they're
I
gonna? Mm,
my bad. I was gonna say Athena is
they're good.
the women's world champ over there, and I definitely expect to see a lot of her as well. And I think we were talking about Willow last week. I think that we're going to see a
Yeah.
lot of Willow in Ring of Honor. Um, that's where I think she was
Oh, that's
originally
a good way to
signed to.
set
Like,
it up.
huh?
No, that's a great way to like if they wanted to work with her now and not wait till next year to capitalize on her, that would be a good way to give her her
Mm,
own spotlight.
yeah, I think.
But go on, you were saying something.
Yeah, yeah, I was just gonna say I think we're gonna see a lot of Willow on Ring of Honor because I originally she was signed to Ring of Honor, like I guess through AEW, but I think that considering that Athena is a face and no, Athena is a heel and Willow is a face, I think that we're going to see Willow become the face of Ring of Honor eventually, especially like their women's division. But I definitely expect there to see a focus on the women. Do you think that there's going to be an improvement in how women are booked in Ring of Honor versus how they were booked in AEW? You know?
Definitely can't make any promises because it's been a shit show, and I think everyone could agree last night was probably one of the worst dynamites I've ever seen in my entire life.
Mm,
One of those was thanks to the way that they've been booking Soraya and Tony Stewart. God help them. I hope that there's an improvement, just because it's a bit of a shame because they have such a talented and diverse division. Um, and I'm happy and glad that Athena would be spearheading the women's division, but it's just like give the women more opportunities and put them in more serious, less, cringy segments if you're going to. Cause
mm,
like now you have like another fresh new slate and you could kind of just put them over there and just kind of wipe out whatever failed experiments you had with them on Wednesday or on Friday night. So if they are, same thing with the guys too that have been wasted. I hope that they kind of just start all over with Ring of Honor. I mean, they could obviously do callbacks if nothing, was broken then. But I feel
mhm.
like some people have been wasted and just like properly use your hour or two. I'm assuming it's gonna be 2 hours. An
Yeah,
hour would be short, right? Is it an
yeah.
hour or two
I don't know. I
for
don't think that they said.
the tapings?
I don't know. I don't. I don't think that they've specified if it's going to be an hour or two, or at least I skipped over that. I don't know if it's going to be an hour or two. Let me look that up. But keep
Well,
going.
either way, that's like still another block of time for you to try to like fix what you've been doing wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and give those people that have been sitting in the back that been signed to since the jump a bit of spotlight and
Mm-hmm.
just maybe like either revamp their characters, give them a new storyline. So I'm interested. I don't want to shit on it yet. I want to see how Tony Khan chooses to go about this. Because if Ring of Honor was that good back then, I want to see what they do now with the talent that they have.
Hmm. I 100% agree with that. It doesn't say it doesn't say per se like over here where it was going to be 1 hour or two, but regardless of if it's an hour or two, I think that you were spot on. And I think this is a great time to kind of feature that up and coming talent that hasn't received the spotlight that they haven't received thus far. However, we want to know what y'all think pertaining to Ring of Honor TV. What are your thoughts, impressions? Who are you looking the most forward to seeing? I don't know if that was grammatically correct, but anyway, y'all correct me if I'm not. But we are gonna move on. Yeah, yeah. So Moving on from Ring of Honor to something that is not Ring of Honor or AEW related at all. Randy Orton may be gearing up for his WWE return this past Saturday on Wrestle Purists. It was reported that the famous wrestling bootmaker Jose G. Sanz was contacted by Randy Orton for new boots for his WWE return. Do you think that this is something? Do you think this is nothing? And if so, how excited are you for the return of Randy Orton?
Yeah, it's pretty dope. Because the things that I have a love hate relationship with Randy Orton. I think he's like one of the best heels of all time. I just get bored of him sometimes when he wrestles. That's my only ever complaint. Just because he moves like a sloth nowadays when he's older. But like I love him because he's really good for elevating other talents. And of course it's WrestleMania season. I want to see more matches on the card that are exciting, and this is just enough time for them to stick Randy Orton with somebody, anybody, maybe someone that they're trying to elevate, maybe a storyline that needs a bit of seasoning. I don't know which one off the top of my head quite yet, but I feel like WrestleMania could use him, especially because it's WrestleMania Hollywood. Again, I don't know if it's gonna be an interaction with like a celebrity or something like that, because Randy Orton has been known to get into it with celebrities and shit. So I would love, I would love to see him back. I do miss him. Um, that's but the question is, what will we see him do? Like, do you have any like suggestions or anything off the top of your head right now that you would love to see Randy Orton, involved in?
Considering that he has had a lot of positive things to say about this one particular celebrity, I would love to see a Randy Orton Bad Bunny interaction at WrestleMania. Logan Paul already has something going with Seth. We haven't heard anything from Bad Bunny or his camp, and I honestly don't see Bad Bunny having a match at Mania. But seeing Randy and Bad Bunny kind of have an interaction when there's already some type of positive rapport, I think that would be dope. That's a good way to get Bad Bunny involved, and it's a good way to get Randy Orton involved. So
Has
I
he ever
think that
commented on Bad Bunny?
he has.
Hello?
Hello, you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just
He
you went black on my screen, but go on.
you're good. He did. I remember there was an interview that he was talking specifically about how obviously he was a little bit skeptical of Bad Bunny or just any celebrity that comes into WWE, but he has a
Mhm.
respect for him because he respects the business. He was
Love
just
that.
saying, Bad Bunny really respects the business and he earned a lot of our respect. Um, After that
Mhm.
match at Mania when it was him and Damian Priest versus Miz and John Morrison, I believe it was, he was just saying that he earned their respect. So with that in mind, I think it would be cool if they have some type of interaction based off of that like respect, because I don't think that Randy is too fond of working with people who don't respect this as much as he does or loves this as much as he does. So there was comments, but you said it to me. I'm going to ask you the same thing. How do you see how do you see Randy Orton kind of returning and coming back? In which way would you book Randy Orton coming back?
I feel like I only like Randy as a heel.
Mm,
So, um, I feel like again because it's WrestleMania Hollywood, why don't you run off of that, you know, um, like that brand? And I mean, I wasn't even thinking Bad Bunny, and that's really a hard choice to top, just because you don't need too much like booking on that. Again, like we know that he's already feisty outside
yeah.
of WWE when it comes to defending this product, the territory of it. He's not really bitter about it. It's just that like he's respected about it.
Mm,
Compared to like say like when Drew McIntyre gave his take, I think some people thought he was a little bit like bitter and whiny about it. But I feel like
yeah.
when people like listen to people like Randy Orton give their take about a celebrity coming in and picking and choosing which ones that he respects, based off what they give to the business and how much heart they put into this. I feel like you could still write in short time a very good storyline between Bad Bunny and Randy Orton if you really wanted to. And it doesn't have to be like too serious. It could just be like fun, you know? I feel
Yeah.
like that's what's missing out of this WrestleMania card, something that's just like fun that you just want to see just because you want to be like what would happen?
Right.
What would happen if you really put a Bad Bunny with a Randy Orton? What way are we going to receive an RKO? with
Right.
these two, considering we just realized how athletic Bad Bunny is. So I actually really do like that. Um, I believe we saw Randy Orton go out while he was in the tag team still, right? If I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken. I don't want to
Yeah.
see him involved in a tag team
Same.
at all. I want to see him just do a one-on-one. I'm trying to think right now though. Is there somebody that could use a little bit of a rub that what was that?
It's my fault. Keep going. My bad.
Nah, no, you're good. That was just
My
really
bad.
funny. Oh my god. Um, but yeah, no, it's kind of perfect. It's kind of oh, I just had a thought in my head.
Talk
We're
to
gonna
me.
have Randy and Cody coexist at the same time. Can I have like a little side
Mm.
interaction with them? Can I have a little legacy callback?
I
I'm not sure
think
if I need a tag team, but
I listen. I don't
go
know if
ahead,
they
go
could
ahead.
be a tag team. I would love if like the weekend or the going home episode of Mania or Mania of Raw. Imagine Randy comes back and gives Cody this spirited speech like this is what Legacy was about. It was about training
Book
you.
it, book
It,
it.
it was like,
That's a C4.
see,
I'm
that's
sorry.
the C4. I was about to say that's the C4 coming in. There we go. but um, but I think Cody coming. I mean, not Cody. Randy coming back and just being like, I've been watching you from the sidelines. Obviously, when you went to that other company, but when we talk about, he could say like the point of evolution was to develop me, and the point of legacy was to develop you. And that falls directly in line with the whole Cody's moniker of finish your story. Because not only are you finishing your story, you're finishing mine. You being a world champion is a
I
part
love
of my
that so
story.
much.
I think that would be a nice, dope interaction. But what do I
Yeah,
know?
because he rubbed Sammy. He just
Right.
rubbed Sammy the other day. Why not have someone rub Cody? Because not for nothing, he just came back. Like he came back after that long ass break, and yes, he did prove himself or whatnot. But still, Roman Reigns is a beast to slay. And I know that people know that Cody is the ish. Like we know
Mm-hmm.
because we've been keeping up with, you know, ROH. We've been keeping up with AEW and stuff like that. But let's just play off the baby face role since Paul Heyman did this shit on my boy not too long ago, and I know he's still he's still suffering.
Right.
That'd be nice if Randy Orton, since technically he was under, he was above, sorry, Cody. That'd be great if he did like give him just a little bit of like support the same way he just gives Sammy, because it would still like make Cody Rhodes like ooze as a baby face to where you
Right.
you want to see him win now.
Right.
People already want to see Cody win, but I feel like just like really hammer it in as him like oozing babyface charisma by
Mm-hmm.
just giving him like a Randy Orton like respect, and just like a callback with legacy. I think that'd be pretty cool. It'd be a subtle role, but I think that's a pretty cool way just to season the storyline the same way they're doing this amazing stuff with Sammy to
Mm-hmm.
balance it on both ends.
And I
Yeah.
also there
Anything that
was
you'd like to
a
add?
I was gonna say there was something being reported that Cody was working on a weight belt for Mania that was featuring all of the independent wrestling promotions that he wrestled on um, while he was away from
You think
WWE.
this one's gonna get thrown back into the ring?
What the belt? No, 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 not Mania.
Yeah, he used to
Not
throw
the
back.
main.
you,
I feel
you know
like
how the fans just said screw him in
yeah, and
AEW,
just
threw the
chuck
shit
the
right
joint
back,
back into.
gave the
Nah,
John Cena treatment.
I think they would actually just take it because like that's a one of a kind belt, and it's gonna be that's something that the indie darlings are gonna like love, just eat it up. But we'll see what happens. But we're gonna move on. I want to hear what y'all thinking about Randy Orton's potential return to WWE. But
Sure.
speaking of Randy Orton, it seems like another former WWE talent or WWE talent may be making their way back to Connecticut in a now deleted picture. Dax Harwood, one half of the tag team FTR, posted a picture on his Instagram featuring a bottle of alcohol, I believe it was tequila. But on the side of said picture was a document that featured the WWE logo, and many people were speculating that it was a WWE contract. Is this nothing or is this something? Do you believe that the revival are in the middle of making their return back to WWE.
I can never picture it. um, and the reason why is I think about from I think it was either 2019 or 2020, but there was like I remember there was a report that came out a while ago of what Vince McMahon wanted to put them into, like these stupid, goofy costumes that look like medieval characters or something like that. And I just remember um, FTR just shitting all over um, just Vince and the concept that he had for them and the way he views tag team wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
and they very much well stood on that. However, I don't think they're 100% happy the way that they're treated in AEW. I feel like they're
Mm-hmm.
more or less grateful but going with the flow sometimes,
Right.
cuz I constantly feel like it's constantly fuck them.
Mm.
Like, and I don't know what they did, but I feel like they refuse to allow them to be like on the top. And I again, I don't know why. Again, I don't know what they did, but aren't they like aligned with Punk as far as I know? So if they all think alike, right? Punk's a troll. I
Mm-hmm.
don't put it past these two to just, be trolls just for the shits and giggles, just because they can. I can't picture them going back to WWE because what is there for them if they go back to WWE? I don't think tag team wrestling is taken seriously enough still over there for them
Mm.
to even entertain that idea. Do you have like an opposing opinion to this? Do you think that they would or have you
I
do?
do. I do
Oh
think they're
god,
going to
I
go
got to
back
hear
to
this one.
WWE.
All right, hold
So
on.
one of the
I need this explanation.
one of the things that so for starters, right? I agree with your points, right? That they were crapping all over WWE and how Vince McMahon viewed tag team wrestling. But you know who else crapped on WWE, and not just crapped on WWE, but also crapped on Vince and Triple H? Um,
Oh, yeah.
the Good Brothers. The Good Brothers were also in that same exact position of like F WWE, WWE this, WWE that. But the moment that they had the opportunity to return, they came back. I think that when it comes down to WWE, when it comes down to tag team wrestling, is it where it needs to be? No, but it is a lot better than where it used to be as far as the presentation of
Jordan,
tag
I'm
team
losing you on
wrestling.
my end.
So I can say that. And I,
And you're back.
okay, so I
You're
was
back.
just saying that is WWE where it used is WWE where is WWE where it needs to be? Was it when it comes to tag team wrestling? No, but they are significantly better than where they were. And I feel like tag teams are definitely taken more seriously now than they used to be taken. In addition to that, in an old interview, one of the things that FTR said that eluded them in WWE that they really, really wanted to do was to do an official stable with Randy Orton, which was going to be FTRKO. And I think that that's something that they would explore. Now, as far as accomplishments, I think that FTR has done it all. When between what they did in WWE and what they did here in AEW, I think they've done it all. They've been the WWE Tag Team Champions, the Raw Tag Team Champions, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, IWGP Tag Team Champions, AAA Tag Team Champions, Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. They were the last match against the Briscoes and the AEW Tag Team Champions. They've had matches against the Good Brothers. They've had matches against the Young Bucks. They've done it all. They've checked off everything off the list. So now I think when we talk about their next step, I think they're more so focused on their financial stability and their financial stability, their family's financial stability.
Mhm.
And I don't think there's going to be a company that writes them a bigger check than WWE at this point in time in their career. And I think that because of that, the revival would go back to WWE just for the sake of being financially stable. And on top of that, just for possibly exploring another like a potential stable with Randy Orton, which I think would be super dope. I'd be down for FTRKO, even if it's a nice little 9 month run, some cute, something sweet, something simple. I'm down for that. But that's my little opposing view. I don't think, and I, so one, but just to be clear, I don't think that they would go back to WWE because they have to. I think it's just like, listen, we've done all the tag team things, we've had all the accomplishments. Let's get some money now. Let's get let's get to the bag. So that's my opinion about FTR, the revival, possibly going to WWE.
I respect that take. That just makes sense. They did kind of like accomplish everything and pad up their resume. It's kind of at a point like, hey, like, I'm coming back at a higher value now. Like,
Mm,
let's talk some money. Um, so I could respect that take because I don't know what else I would want them to do over there in AEW because I feel like every time like I have a little bit of faith that they're gonna put them over or do something with them or progress them somehow, some shape or form, it's really like not much of anything.
mm,
So I get it. I get that much. I mean, it'd be nice. It would definitely add some seasoning into maybe something for Mania if they did want to bring them back. You
mm-hmm,
know, um, and plus they have a good relationship with Hunter as far as I know. With the way that they
mm-hmm,
were in NXT. So perhaps they could be booked a little bit differently. I'm not
mm,
completely against that response. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at them if they won. I wouldn't call them hypocrites or anything, but it would still just be otherwise shocking because
right.
I feel like the only reason why they're here is because it's not Vince.
Yeah,
If it
very
was,
true.
it'd definitely be fuck them. But yeah, nah, that'd be pretty cool to see him back. I'm with it. I guess I'm in that case. I'm with it if it's for just the bag.
Shit, you gotta look out for you. You gotta look out for you at the end of the day. But we want to know what y'all think. Is FTR returning back or returning to? That was so grammatically incorrect. Is FTR or the revival returning to WWE? With that being said, we're gonna move on because I wanted to talk about one specific segment from this past week, which was the Cody Rhodes Sami Zayn segment. Absolute gold, in my opinion. Um, I wanted to know your impressions and your take on this, as well as kind of their build towards Elimination Chamber and thus WrestleMania.
Um, honestly, I don't know who's responsible solely for like this Roman Reigns storyline, but they've been handling this like say what you want to about like the rest of the show and how they book the rest of the other 5 hours of this show. Like I understand that between like NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, really say what you want. The 20 minutes that we get, 20 to 40 minutes we get per week, based off of anything related to like this bloodline storyline, has been handled with gloves. And it's been like the first time in well over a decade that a storyline like has us all like, like this. Like we're really like invested into a storyline. And I think that it's just insane how considering that we didn't get what we want with The Rock, that they managed to just pull out like a even better and more exciting and unpredictable stop with sidetracking with Cody and Sammy. You know what I mean? Um and I feel like what they did, choosing to have Cody come out since they're both baby faces and give Sammy that rub was like the best possible thing to do just because we already love Sammy. He's another person that again
Mm,
naturally oozes charisma. It's just written all over his face and stuff like that. But we don't want to be burnt out and bored of him since, you know, we still have some time to go. We got like 2 months to go before we see this match. I like how they send Sammy off by having a rub by, basically the new John Cena of our company, that is Cody Rhodes.
yeah,
And they kind of like send him off getting this massive rub, to put more faith not only in him, but put more faith into us and kind of just like make it seem as if like they're not quite a tag team, but it's kind of like, the best man for himself because one of us got to take this monster down.
right,
You know what I mean? Because Roman Reigns is like the biggest final boss since Brock Lesnar or like the Undertaker, if you will. So I like the fact that they kind of like did this thing off of respect. Like, I'm not gonna help you necessarily, bro, but like I want to see you win as much as I need to see myself win. Because
mm,
again, someone needs to slay this new beast. So I thought it was so well executed. I love this storyline. I'm very so much invested into it. And again, like I'm just amazed considering that we're not getting what we want. That it's like the first time in a while WWE's actually like giving us something where it feels like the fans all win. Like we all win regardless with the way that they're handling this. So that's just my little 2 cents. What did you think about this segment and how do you feel like this overall booking of like this storyline with the bloodline Cody and Sammy?
This
A lot of
segment,
questions, but go ahead.
it's all right. This
Mhm.
segment was gold. It was cinema. But it seems like everything that is coming from the bloodline and everything related to it is gold and is cinema. Like you said, this is being handled with care. This is being handled with gloves, and you can tell because there's such a careful approach to it. And I also think that part of the reason why this segment and this build is going the way that it's going is because a guy like Triple H is in charge, right? Like we can look back at um, the Daniel Bryan storyline or the Yes Movement or Kofi Mania, where there seemed to be a little resistance before the company was all in. But it's like the moment there was a little bit of a sense that now we have two people that are just as qualified to be in a main event at WrestleMania. They lean into it, and I feel like that takes a lot of you know flexibility from the powers that be. So I think my hat to go off to Triple H for being able to be flexible enough to see let's lean into this and see what comes of it. Um, I think it was definitely one of those things where I feel like either way, regardless of who wins that elimination chamber, um, I feel like it's going to benefit Cody more than anything. I feel like if Sammy loses and in a way they like jump him and absolutely destroy him, it's like now they're gonna want Cody to win because it's like, well, Sammy can't be here, so you got to do it for Sammy. In addition to doing it for Dusty. Um, if Sammy wins, now it's Sammy Cody, and now you have Sammy as a transitional champion, and Cody can take him down, and it's like I guess believable. If you have a triple threat between Cody, Sammy, and Roman, you can have Cody pin Roman, taking down the monster, but it also gives Sammy another opportunity to go for that title because he wasn't pinned. So I feel like regardless of who wins this match, Cody wins in the end. And I feel like that wouldn't be the case if WWE wasn't willing to kind of lean in to the story and really sink their teeth into what they have here. I think it's super fire. I think this is going to be Elimination Chamber on Sunday is going to be so fire. I'm very much looking forward to them being in Montreal. Oh my God, the pop that Sammy's going to get in Montreal is going to be insane. Um, but I'm just overall just very much looking forward to what comes of this because everything about this storyline has just been fantastic. It's hasn't disappointed me yet, and I don't think that it ever will. And it's interesting. Eric Bischoff said that this Bloodline storyline was better is better than the NWO, and I wholeheartedly agree. Because of the structure, he said it. He said, there's a structure and a discipline and a care to it, and there is, and it hasn't been demonstrated across any other storyline in the history of this company. So I think the segment was gold. I think this buildup was phenomenal. Um, and all in all, I just think that this is going to be a phenomenal match and a phenomenal occurrence. Yeah, I saw the lights flicker off. The Undertaker's going to come downstairs. But um, Anywho,
Oh my god.
we're gonna move on. We want to know what y'all feel. How do you guys feel about the buildup of uh, Cody Rhodes on the road to WrestleMania, Sami Zayn on the road to Elimination Chamber, which is on Saturday? But we want to know your opinions and your feedback on it. But we're gonna move on to our first set of predictions because in addition to Elimination Chamber, we got New Japan Pro Wrestling's Battle in the Valley on February 18th, coming live from San Jose. This show has essentially been sold out since it was announced because of the main event that was announced pertaining to it. We're going to just get right into this. So we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches on the card. So let's get right into it. So we got an 8-man tag: Adrian Quest, Josh Alexander, Mascara Dorada, Rocky Romero versus Kevin Knight, Kushida, the DKC, and Volado Jr. Who do you think is going to win this match?
Hold on, I'm gonna need you to give me one moment to
You're good.
I can copy and paste as long as y'all don't understand. Jordan sent the longest hyperlink instead of
The
instead of
longest
just
one.
running out the match.
The
So
longest hyperlink, okay?
I'm just trying to like whole scroll and highlight. um, but I'm gonna take on. Can you just read off the names one more time while I get my life
Uh,
together?
Adrian Quest, Josh Alexander, Mascara Dorada, and Rocky Romero versus Kevin Knight, Kushida, the DKC, and Volador Jr. That's an 8-man
Mm,
tag.
yeah. I don't know. Normally, I don't really like care too much about 8-man tags, but if we're going off of this little lineup, I'm gonna go with the second team.
Hmm. I'm gonna go with the first. I'm gonna go with Adrian Quest, Josh Alexander, Rocky Romero. I'm gonna go with those guys. I feel like obviously because of um, Access's relationship with New Japan and Impact, obviously Impact and New Japan being on the same channel, I feel like they're going to continue to do things that strengthen that relationship. And I feel like because Josh Alexander is the Impact World Champion, his team is going to come out on top, and I think he's going to score the pinfall. So now we can move on to this next match, the New Japan Strong Open Weight Tag Team Championship. This looks like it's going to be a banger. Got the Motor City Machine Guns versus the West Coast Wrecking Crew, which is Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaacs. Who do you think is going to get this?
I guess I'm more familiar with the Motor City Machine Guns. I'm gonna go with them.
I'm gonna go with the West Coast Wrecking Crew. I believe that the Motor City Machine
Why?
Guns are one of the most accomplished tag teams in the history of professional wrestling. But they've been on top and one of the most influential for pretty much past 15, 20 years. And I think that they're going to put themselves in a position to put a new team over, hence the West Coast Wrecking Crew. So I'm going to go with West Coast Wrecking Crew on this one. Um, Next, we got the Filthy Rules fight. Homicide versus Tom Lawler. Who do you got?
I like Homicide. I'm biased. I'm gonna go with Homicide. But what can you explain what is the Filthy Rules fight? What does that
I'm
consist of?
assuming I'm assuming that it is a no disqualification. Um, what's this up? I'm assuming that it is a no disqualification match. I'm not particularly sure. Let me actually look it up of what is a filthy rules match because I don't want to assume what is a filthy rules match. Homicide versus uh, Tom Lawler. Um, I'm assuming that it is a what the heck? Here we go. Let's say what is a filthy rules match? Based off
Sounds
of
very
like
kinky. I need an explanation.
it actually does. No,
Sorry, go
I think that it is some form of like I think it is some form of like non disqualification match. Um, I'm trying to see if I can like find
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up too.
yeah, because I honestly don't know what a
You can't find it. It's not too big of a deal. That's just a pretty bold name.
I think it is that. I think it's like a no
Like what exactly gets
disqualification.
filthy?
Huh? I think it's a no
I just want
disqualification.
to know what exactly gets filthy here.
Right. I mean, I think I think it's a matter of something being filthy. I think as much as it is a okay, filthy right. Oh, it's a no disqualification match with the ropes taken down from the ring. So I'm assuming that it's like a MMA style type of situation because that's like Tom
Oh,
Lawler's.
that's so cool. Wait,
I
now I'm
think that
excited because that's like a perfect place for homicide with
exactly.
how reckless
So
they yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun.
I think this is I
Now
think
I'm
this is
definitely I'm double downing on homicide. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with Tom Lawler. I feel like this is his match for a reason. I feel like once again, Homicide is a legend in the game, and because of that, he's going to do his due diligence and put Tom Lawler over. But we'll see. But yeah, I think that ultimately it's going to go to. I think it's ultimately is going to go to Homicide. But moving on to the next match, and this is something that I'm very excited for. Well, the next two matches, both of them I'm very, very excited for. We got the New Japan World Television title match between Zack Sabre Jr. and Clark Connors. Both of them are fantastic pro wrestlers, fantastic um, technical pro wrestlers. I want to know who you got on this.
I wouldn't be mad if either were one, but
Mm,
I really like Zack Sabre Jr. Like
mm,
every time I see him, I get excited, and I remember why I love technical wrestling very
mm,
much. So my bias is gonna swing me towards Zack.
mm. I'm gonna go with Zack Sabre Jr. as well. So we align on that aspect. I just think that he's having a good reign. I feel like you're still getting this championship established, and you go to one of the best, technical wrestlers in the world, and I think it's gonna be a banger of a match. But I do think that Zack Sabre Jr. is gonna win
Yeah.
this match. Now, here is a match that I'm very much looking forward to in addition to the main event. We got a singles match between Eddie Kingston and Jay White. Who you got?
Um, I see Jay White still going over because I feel like right now he's a white hot free agent that they're trying to put somewhere, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
still a free agent,
Yeah.
right? I feel like it would only make sense that since everyone wants him, that they put him over and make him look great. As much as I love and adore Eddie Kingston, Eddie Kingston just regularly kind of takes the L's. Even though I love him, I love
Mm,
him. I want to put that in there. I love Eddie Kingston, and I expect nothing of this but to be a fun match.
mm,
And I'm happy he's on the card, to be honest, because he deserves it. But I feel like, yeah, Jay White's definitely just going over just because again, like Eddie Kingston gets put into these amazing feuds, but he doesn't normally come off on top. And I think we're kind of used to that. And we kind of got to a point where it's just like, we're just happy to see Eddie Kingston do something because
mm.
he's that fun and entertaining.
I agree. I personally think that we're going to get I think we're gonna get Eddie Kingston to win this match. I think that because Jay White is leaving, you put people over on your way out. I feel like Eddie is going to be more involved in New Japan. And because Eddie's going to be more involved in New Japan, he may go for some championships. He may be in some major storylines. And because of that, I just think that Jay White being a former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, him taking the pin or him, losing to Eddie Kingston is only going to elevate Eddie Kingston. Jay White here has nothing to
That's true.
lose. Jay White here has nothing to lose. If he takes the pin, it's not really going to hurt him. There's already been rumors of him going to WWE anyway, where he would probably have to start fresh anyway. This wouldn't hurt him, and it puts Eddie Kingston over. Um, but moving on from that, we have the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship match between Fred Rosser and Kenta. Who do you think is going to get this match?
Between Fred Roster and Kenta, I'm trying to catch up where you're at because I went on a different page than you. And Kenta. I have no
Kenta?
explanation why, but I feel it in my soul. I'm gonna go with Kenta.
I, I actually agree. I actually agree. I think it's going to be Kenta as well. I think that you know, if Jay White is on the way out, I believe that Kenta is going to be one of the guys that steps up and is going to become one of the biggest stars in New Japan. He's already held that U.S. championship, but there needs to be someone who has a heavy presence in the U.S. that can kind of hold things down. I think Kenta can be that person. And I think that for the sake of, you know, viewership, for the sake of the fans, they've been waiting to see Kenta be a heavyweight title or holder of some sort since he left WWE. And I think that him winning this title is going to be that, you know, that way that he's going to become even though it's an open weight championship, it's the main championship of New Japan Strong. So I think that because of that, he's going to
For
win.
real.
And now for what the people came to see, the IWGP Women's World Championship match between Kyrie and Mercedes Monet. Who do you got? Kyrie and Mercedes.
I feel like they'd be an idiot to not have Mercedes win. As much
Mm,
as I love and adore Kyrie, um, you know, she's been doing amazing things since she's exited WWE. This is
hmm
going to be a great match and a good introduction back for Mercedes, just because she's been away from the ring in front of an audience, as far as we know, for like what 8 months, 8 9 months, or something like that.
mm Yeah.
Um, and this is someone that she's very familiar with because she tossed it up with the Kabuki Warriors.
hmm
So I'm excited to see what this match is going to be like. But with the momentum, with the way that they've been hiding her and her moves and stuff like that, and they just gave us just a little sprinkle of her when she came out just like last month. I just think you'd be a fool to just have her come and then lose.
mm
I just feel like you can't. You have to ride off of that very cocky momentum. And plus, I'm not sure if you peeped this, but I was stalking her Instagram, and she had like a documentary come out about her journey and this dream that she had of coming to Japan, and had she has never been so happy. And that she's so grateful that she took this sacrifice, and that fans are actually supporting her making
hmm
this big decision to walk out, switch companies, and go switch literal continents, because that's such a bold move that a lot of people just would not follow through with, because a lot of people are diehard WWE fans and each their own. That's fine if you want to move that way, but that you have to be a very gravitating force in your own right to have fans actually want to sit there and go subscribe to a whole new promotion that is in a whole different language and a whole different setup with a whole different culture and a whole new adjustment, just because they want to see you win over there. So I
mm
feel like if they do all of this and she does not get the belt, they are losing money. Like it would be the dumbest promotional decision I had ever witnessed. If you acquire someone such as Mercedes and you promote her in such this way, and they've been breadcrumbing us with like what she's doing.
Yeah.
We want to see what she does, and we want to see her win, and we just want to see Sasha versus all these other people, which it would
hmm
help their division too. It would force people to watch because they just want to see Sasha wrestle and Sasha do her thing and Sasha mix up with other people. You're only helping out the other female wrestlers that are foreign to us Americans if you
hmm
put the belt on Sasha and you have Sasha mix it up with them, because now you're proving that Sasha could still wrestle, can mix it up, and can handle a different style wrestling, because she's going to be wrestling stiffer, much,
hmm
much stiffer, longer matches, so it's gonna put those females over and Sasha, because that's what Sasha does best. She doesn't go into business for herself. Of course, this was like one move that she did do for herself, but she doesn't like make this drastic decisions like this without
hmm
trying to help the entire promotion, all the women around her. So yeah, Sasha has to win. It's not that I think she should win. She has to win. Otherwise, you're flopping hard, Japan. Like you can't do this. You cannot do this to us. What do you
to kind
think?
of to kind of build off of what you were saying, even we talked about this, I think last month when we were talking about Mercedes and just like her appearance in New Japan, right? Talking
Yeah.
about just like the difference that that made and the numbers that came from that, right? Being one of the highest searches on Google, bringing in I would say bringing in more likes, I mean, not more likes, but more subscribers upon her Wrestle Kingdom appearance than Chris Jericho did when he had a Wrestle Kingdom match. Mercedes Monet
Yup.
is a difference maker in any company. And the appearance proved why she needs to be the champion. Because when you are establishing
Yup.
a new division, you need visibility and you need prestige. When we talk about women's wrestling and the
Mhm.
women's revolution, Mercedes has been responsible for some of the greatest matches in women's wrestling, some of the greatest moments in women's wrestling, has been advocating for things in women's wrestling that had she not advocated for would not be in place. And when you
Mhm.
got that in mind and you are New Japan Pro Wrestling and you're trying to embark on reestablishing your company to be at the forefront of this industry now that you don't have the Bullet Club buzz that you used to, or you don't have the stars that you used to, you need to do the right thing and you need to put the belt on Mercedes. That's the reason why I think that
Mhm.
Mercedes is going to win this match. I think that what she's going to do for this women's division is very similar to what Britt Baker did for the AEW women's division. Um, in the sense that once she gets that belt is going to be synonymous with her and her legacy, and it's going to put her company and her division on the map. And like you said, once she gets the title, I do believe that we're going to see her up against a lot of other women from a lot of other companies, right? When, one of the problems that Jamie Hayter has been having is having formidable opponents. Who's to say that we can't have a Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Monet match where winner takes all? And now we got belts going back and forth to and fro Japan. I think it just makes the most sense, and ultimately it just needs to happen because Mercedes is a star. So to kind of wrap that up, Mercedes, I think, is going to beat Kyrie. But gosh, shout outs to Mercedes for like betting on herself. And obviously, like this event
Mhm.
sold out just because her match was announced. Like before Jay White, Eddie Kingston, before all these other matches, Mercedes was announced for this event, and the event sold out. That should tell you how valuable she is. But we want to know y'all
She's
battle
that
of the valley.
girl.
She's that girl. We want to know what y'all battle of the
Mhm.
valley predictions are. Let us know in the comments. We're gonna move on to the elimination chamber. So on that same day, we got the elimination chamber. We're gonna run through these matches real quick. So first match, we got Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. Singles match, non-title match. Who you think is gonna win?
Brock. Just
Mm,
it's Brock. Brock don't show up unless he's going to win, unless he's gonna
mm.
go fade into obscurity. But you're gonna keep it on Brock, and then you're gonna bring Brock to Meanie so he can collect another paychecks. That's just my short answer as to why it's Brock. You know, Brock
Right.
came here for a paycheck.
That's a fact. That's a fact. A paycheck and a win, either a win or some type of match is going to lead to another paycheck. But I do believe that Brock is going to win this one because I think,
Yeah.
no. Actually, I think Bobby's going to win this one. I take that back. Bobby's going to win this one because I think Brock won the last one. I think Brock won the last one in like a very sneaky way, which is uncharacteristic of him. But I finally think we're going to get the Hurt Business Bobby Lashley to pull up and do damage. With that in mind, I do believe that Bobby Lashley is going to win. So
No, I'm on Brock. Brock.
we'll
Next.
see. We're going to find out. The next match is Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Who we got from your unbiased opinion?
My unbiased
From
opinion.
your unbiased
I'm so
opinion.
sick of her. I'm so sick of her. I'm very sick of her wardrobe. I'm very sick of him grabbing her invisible ass. Like I'm very sick of a lot of things I've been seeing on my television. Um, I feel like it has to go to Rhea.
Mm,
If I'm trying to speak from a very non-logical standpoint, as much as I want Rhea to end Beth yet again, because that was
mm,
the best moment of my life outside of Randy Orton, Arcane Beth.
mm.
Those were two times I was happy in my life. I don't think I've ever been as happy since. But I think that Rhea Ripley has to be the person that like wins the match overall. I
Right.
know that Edge is going on his way out. This is just something fun for him to do with his wife. I feel like as of right now, he doesn't care to be champion. He's just
Yeah.
at a point where he wants to be involved, be on TV, help put other people over and make them seem important. Why would you put Rhea in a predicament to lose,
Mm,
especially since she just won the Royal Rumble? It just seems illogical.
mm,
Um, I feel like you have to have her be the person to get the win for this entire match, just to build her momentum. Edge got to do something fun with the Butler, and Rhea gets a nice little rub, and she carries out her momentum to her Mania match. That is what I think.
I actually fully agree with you. I don't think that, I think we are going to get.
She the butler? Yeah.
Oh, I'm not gonna slander her like that. But what I will say is, I
I
don't believe
will.
that.
Block
Yeah,
me, bitch. Block me
of
from your
course,
account. Don't block me
of
from
course.
his account. Block me from your account, you scary bitch. But go on.
That's the C4. But you're right. I don't believe that Edge wants a championship. I think he wants to just have compelling stories. I think that Rhea and Finn are going to win this one because Rhea needs momentum going into a WrestleMania match with Charlotte. I think that she's actually going to score the pinfall on Beth, and I think that this match is going to, even though it's going to be Edge and Finn in it as well, I think that this is going to kind of serve as the blow off for Beth and Rhea. Um, so I think that it's going to be Ray is going to pin Beth in this, and then Ray is going to go into Mania. I think that the story is going to continue with Edge and the rest of the Judgment Day. There have been rumors surrounding a potential Hell in a Cell match at Mania, which I wouldn't be completely opposed to, as kind of like the blow off match, the match that ends it all. So I do believe that Rhea and Finn are going to win. So I'm going to go with the local Judgment Day. All right, so moving on from that match, we have the two chamber matches. We have Asuka versus Liv Morgan versus Nikki Cross versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalia versus Carmella in a women's elimination chamber match to determine the number one contender for Bianca Belair's Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Who do you got?
I feel like well, Triple H has a hard on for Raquel, so I could see Raquel getting it just because it's Raquel.
Mm,
But I wouldn't be entirely mad just because that's actually visually not a bad match. I mean, they already tossed it up in NXT. I could see Triple H trying to build off of that. However, Kana has made her debut just a couple weeks ago. And the fans are eating it up.
mm,
We love this weird, creepy side that we're getting to Asuka or Kana. So I think that it would only make sense if you have Asuka just maul through everybody. Not like maul like as bad as like how not Maul as bad as Shayna did, but get rid of all like the irrelevant blondes that she listed, like Natty and fucking Carmella and Liv Morgan. Maul through them bitches because they just irrelevant. But
right.
lead it off to a standoff with someone like Raquel, to where you're not burying the division
Mm,
and you're still like building somebody up, because again I know he's very high on Raquel.
mm,
So that's the way I see it ending. But Asuka has to get the win if they want to bring any relevancy to this gimmick and
mm,
help people understand the importance, because some people are thinking that this is just Asuka just playing around with makeup and just wanting to just be like, evil.
right.
And I feel like they need to get the full gist by seeing this gimmick in motion, full on motion. So put her over. But Triple H knows what he's doing in this sense. Like it books itself. Asuka just has to win this one.
And I agree with you there. I believe that Asuka is going to win this one. I believe that a victory in the women's elimination chamber gives the gimmick credibility. I also believe that it gives payoff to her rebrand, right? Like, you don't go into hiding for months on end and come back with a completely new look just to lose to Carmella. Like, no. So I think that Asuka is going to win this match, and we're getting Asuka and Bianca at Mania, which I personally love that for both Oscar and Bianca. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Oscar for the win. Now, for the United States Championship, we have Austin Theory versus Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed versus Johnny Gargano versus Damian Priest versus Montez Ford. Who do you got?
Damn, that's a lot of people.
It is.
Um, uh, ch- 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 damn, that would be crazy if Montez got that.
That will be tough.
Like, I would love that so much. I don't feel like it's gonna go to Montez, but I feel like if you want to like throw us a bone and do something really unpredictable, it'd be fire if you had Montez Ford win. I know it's not Damian Priest because he's kind of just there just to, you know, just to show, just to like put his participation in points for the Judgment Day. Even though I think his role is kind of irrelevant. Austin Theory, I don't know how high Triple H is on Austin Theory. I mean, I know he was back in NXT, but I just feel like for him to win, I just think that it's like I personally don't really believe very much in him. Johnny Gargano, he hasn't really done much of anything. Like he's
Mm.
there, but he's not there. He's kind of like an annoying bug in my ear when I see him on the main roster. No, he's just like annoying. Like, I don't explain it. Like he's too. He already gave me dad energy before he was a dad, but now it's like extra dad energy. Like I can't
Extra
do it.
dad-esque.
I can't do it. It's so cringy. It's like a dad that wants to be a wrestler. You know what I mean? Like he never
Yeah.
got to like follow his dream as a kid. So he's experiencing it now in his 30s. That's the vibe I get off of Johnny Gargano. Even I know
Right.
he's not all these things. It's just he's annoying to me. Seth Rollins doesn't really need to win, but if Seth Rollins ever wins, I'm never complaining because I fucking love Seth Rollins and his annoying red boots.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Bronson Reed could benefit though. That's always a great way to put over someone that we haven't seen in a while, especially since he just got back into the company. I wouldn't be
Right.
mad if Bronson Reed won either, just because it's new and it's fresh. Final answer. I'm gonna guess Bronson Reed, but my
Mm.
heart wants Montez Ford.
Mm. My heart wants Montez Ford or Johnny Gargano, but I think we're getting Austin Theory to retain. And I believe the reason why is because at Mania, I think we're going to get Austin Theory versus John Cena for the US title. I think
But
we're
who
getting
wants to see
Theory.
that?
I don't know. I don't listen. I don't know. I just think in my heart of hearts, that's what we're getting. But I think that because that's what we're getting, I think because of that, Austin Theory retains. I actually wouldn't mind seeing Theory versus Cena. Me personally.
I only wouldn't because it's Cena, but I don't give a shit about Austin Theory. But and I get why, because visually you're getting the ruthless aggression looking Cena versus aged out Cena. You
Fine
know what I mean?
wine
Bald spot
Cena.
Cena. No,
Fine
bald spot
wine
Cena.
Cena. Very true. That is bald spot Cena. But
I hope the bald spot makes the game. By the way, um,
that nah, chill. Don't do my bro John like that. Let him have his full head, bro. That's my guy. I love John Cena. But that would be just
go
grimy.
ahead.
But yeah, I think that's what we're getting at Mania. I think we're getting Cena. Um, I think we're getting Cena and what's the face at Mania? Cena and Austin
What's
Theory
his
at
face?
Mania. And because of
That's
that,
what he
Austin
is.
Theory is going to return. And I think champions come out last. So I think Bronson Reed is going to like run through everybody, and then it's just going to be Austin Theory and whoever's left, and he's just going to pick up the pieces. But
Hmm.
going from that into the last match, Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn for the WWE Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship. Who we got? Is it Roman or is it Sammy? I need to see. I need to know.
This is hard. I mean, it's hard, but it's not hard. It's hard because my heart wants Sammy because that is the bow tie to such a beautiful, well told 3 year plus long storyline.
Mm-hmm.
To have Sammy win. And I just feel like just because it's Elimination Chamber, that is not going to be Sammy, knowing that we have a setup for Cody.
Mm.
Um and they're still trying to continue. But however, if they want to give Jay Uso a role, the only way I could see Sammy winning is if they have Roman beat the living dog shit out of Sammy, beat him down. Sammy gets like this babyface power up energy going, right? And then he's fighting for his life to beat Roman and he's trying to win by the skin of his teeth. And maybe Jay Uso does pop up and assist Sammy because he's that much sick and tired of Roman shit. Because aren't they still looking for Jay?
Yes, they are. They are still looking for Jay.
So who's to say that we don't finally see Jay until he pops up and sabotages Roman, so that Sammy doesn't win cleanly, you know?
Yeah.
And then they could still call back with Cody, and maybe
Yeah.
Cody could be a little disappointed that he didn't win cleanly. Okay, I would only season it if they
That
want
would have
to
seasoned it.
make Sammy win, but then play off of Sammy's insecurities, because Sammy is not the most confident dude. You know what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean? He believes in himself because of Roman and the bloodline and enjoying being like a lackey, being part of something. And someone just said, go out and do what you have to do and take that belt off of this man clean. You know, it'd be great if Sammy was having like a celebration and then Cody just kind of shook his head and he's just like, like, that's not your belt. We need to see that again. Like, that's not your belt. What?
Wait a
Your face.
minute. There's a callback
Nah, tell.
that can happen. And I just realized this is another layer of the story. Remember in NXT when Sami Zayn was going for the NXT championship against Neville, and he kept having matches with him, and the thing was, you can't win the big one. That's what the root of the insecurity is. That he can't win the big one. That's why Cody gave him the pep talk, because he still has the underlying security that he can't win the big one.
Oh my God,
And
that's amazing.
they can call back to this in the match because there's still Roman, like in this particular part of his career, it's not Neville, it's not the NXT championship, but it's Roman Reigns and it's his championship.
Yeah,
This is the big one.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
Why
So
are we not booking this?
I don't know, but
Sorry,
it's
go
like,
ahead.
I'm like thinking, wow, this is another call. This is another callback. But
There's so
with that,
much you could do with this.
there's
There's
so much
so
you can do with
much you
this,
could do with this.
and there's so many layers. And my heart, like you said, my heart wants Sammy, but I think that Roman is going to take it. I think that Roman is going to take it by the skin of his teeth. I think that Jay is definitely going to play a role in this, which is the reason why we haven't really seen him around like that. But I think Roman is going to win it.
But do you think that if he does make an interference and tries to help Sammy win, do you think that we're gonna end up seeing Roman versus Jay down the line? Because if he does
Absolutely.
win, you still.
Absolutely. And that's part of the unraveling of the bloodline is because Jay was the first. Jay was like the first real member. It was like Paul Heyman and then Jay. And then Jimmy came back. And then Sammy tried to join. And then Solo came back. So I feel like just like they all joined one by one, they're all going to unravel one by one. So Sammy's now not a part anymore. Then Jay's not going to be a part anymore. Then Jimmy, then Solo. But I think, yeah. Jesus. So thick.
Yeah. It
So
is. It could go
dense.
either way, but
It could
but
go
that's how
either
you
way.
know you got a good story,
Right.
because it could go in multiple ways because they just dropped off too many gems to play with. So you
Right.
can't be mad with either decision. This is how
Right.
wrestling's supposed to feel. I should feel like I don't know who got it, but whoever does got it, I'm not completely mad, but I'm definitely gonna feel some type of way. You
Exactly.
know,
Wow. That was so good. Anyway,
this show's gonna be
anyway,
great.
anyway, anyway. That concludes our Elimination Chamber predictions for the week. Um, be sure to join us once again, 316 space, Saturday night. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be fun. Join us. We're gonna be building community. It's gonna be a lot of The Royal Rumble one was great, and I assume that this one's gonna be great as well. So just stay tuned. But that concludes our show for today. Thank y'all for joining episode 30. And we're gonna be seeing y'all at 316 space, and we're gonna see y'all next week.